Welcome to Board Game Geek's coverage of Origin 2019. I am here with Larry Wickman, GameWick Games. My good friend, what do you got here? And tell us all about it.
Okay, well, this is a sci-fi movie board game. It's called Shuffling Horror, the Shuffling Horror line. The first game was Pittsburgh 68. That's Romero-style zombie horror movie. And what it does is it pits you into a movie. There's one player as the director, and everyone else is players in the movie trying to make it through 4 reels of the movie. So there's a reel counter. The first reel is 10 cards, second reel is 20, then 15, then the final 10 minutes of the movie. And everything is generated from the central movie deck. So what we're showing today is Innsmouth 32. This will be the third in the board game line. Pittsburgh was the first. Roswell 51 was the second game.
Boom. There we go.
And that's retro sci-fi B-movie, Mars Attack style movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah,
You
that's
know
it.
I'm a fan of that stuff.
Okay. And so what we're talking about today is Innsmouth 32.
Okay.
This is the prototype box. And we delve into Lovecraftian horror this time.
Okay. Look at that, folks. Lovecraftian. Love it.
Now each game changes the flavor. So Pittsburgh was just isolation horror, you're trapped by zombies. This is more gonzo Mars Attacks, but this one really is the most terrifying in the line. We're increasing it to include insanity points, and also mythos points, so there's a bit of spell casting. So what happens in the game, everybody starts as survivors. And so there's 12 survivors in the pack.
Okay.
And the plot behind Innsmouth 32, there is a plot set. It's On the Lam Gangsters hijack a tour bus of Miskatonic University students and scholars. They take a wrong turn and they end up in Innsmouth for the night. And so during the game, the director will be running the movie and doing a little bit of storytelling along the way as the cards generate the movie. So while there is a GM capacity, the cards will just make the movie run along a certain path the entire time.
Okay.
So for instance, if you're playing, because there's 12 characters, you can play 1 versus 12 players if you like. The sweet spot is 4 to 6 players.
Okay.
And the movie begins, you generate cards. So this player is the professor of languages. We've got the goon over there, and the bus driver who gets us into this terrible mess. So if that was 3 players, everybody would begin with 1 card. And the rest of the cards go over onto a slot here for survivor draw pile. So during the game, players can actually draw additional survivors into their hands so they get more attacks per action.
Okay.
And along the way, they're going to lose characters to the monsters and the deep ones. So what happens is the first reel of the movie is 10 cards. There's a reel track up here. The first reel is 10 cards. You simply shuffle the movie deck, take 10 cards off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the first 10 minutes of the movie. And then there's a 3-card opening hand, which is the opening scene. This becomes the discard draw pile for the remainder of the game. So at the end of the reel, we're going to shuffle this pile again and deal out reel 2. So there's never telling what cards are going to come up in any given movie. It's going to be a different movie each and every time we play. So let's see what the opening scene is. We've got a rising tide. There's a weird medallion nearby, and there's also a broken oar. So these are both items that folks can grab. The weird medallion has mythos power, so it allows you to banish monsters. And each item there has a significant, the brains here is the main stat folks need, and I didn't really explain that. Each character has a stat pool down the bottom like a character normally would in an RPG. And it's a 2-dice system, so you're always running 2 dice, trying to get this score or less to succeed anything you want to in the game. And bit by bit, characters will take items. Say the bus driver grabs the oar, the professor of languages, she's a scholar, she might end up with a weird medallion. And the movie will just keep chunking forward. As people take cards or kill cards, more cards fill. And we get the first monsters appearing, 5 decrepit cultists. They start filling in up here on the director's turn. And the mechanics here are pretty simple for monsters. This monster has to roll snake eyes to kill you. The 5 cultists have to roll 5 or less. But I can stack monsters, and now I've got to roll 7 or less. And all the time, monsters, there's a Shoggoth, and there's deep ones rising.
Now, how many can they add on?
I can add 3 cards for each pool.
So at 7, you add that on there.
Yeah, if I put this in,
like an automatic.
It's an automatic. So I throw that 6 there, and I have a 13 to hit, so I can't fail. However, you can fail with Snake Eyes is an auto kill. So if I go to attack you and Snake Eyes as a character, out of the game permanently.
Okay.
2 6s, fumble, you counter strike or I counter strike whoever's attacking me.
Okay, let's see you roll it. Can you roll 12? Come on.
Yeah, that's it. Let's go against the
Let's
goon.
go.
We're going against the goon.
Oh,
We got a 6. So I do hit the goon because I had to roll 13 or less.
Yep.
The goon takes damage, and that's a single die of damage. He takes 6 points of damage. Here's his options, and this is the way it plays for all characters. In order to get away from that damage, you either pay me 6 of these points that are around the perimeter of the board,
Okay.
which would drain him completely,
Okay.
or he does a speed test. His speed is 5. Let's see you roll this. Will the goon make it out of the scene? 5 or less.
Watch this. Let me show you some skills here, my friend.
Oh, that's about a point.
It hit the card.
That's it. So the goon doesn't make it through the first reel of the movie.
Wow.
He goes into the discard pile.
Okay.
Later on, if he gets back into this and comes here, he is now a cultist in the game. He was a cultist all along. So we have that whole Blood of Innsmouth going on through the game too.
That's pretty cool.
Now that character, the player that was playing the goon, is out of character. On their turn, their only option would be to draw another character, which is the night clerk. And so that's the way the characters go. Now, what would happen in the game? Say we kill this character, and this is the cool part of the game. There's no more characters left to draw. We've played the game to the end. That player is not out. They start taking monsters off the board, and now it's us versus everybody else at the table.
Oh, so you start to convert everybody through the table until there's just one dude left, and he's fighting uphill.
And that's the same with Pittsburgh 68, which is all zombie horror.
Wow.
One by one, the players actually start turning against you.
That's
so
cool.
We say it's a cooperative game until it's not. Everybody is playing as a team on that side against the dealer. These points are the perimeter points. Everybody begins with points around the perimeter, which they can share to keep each other alive. Once these start disappearing, this is pretty much the noose closing in around the game, and then it gets more desperate from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It gets,
when can we expect this?
All right, Innsmouth 32 hits Kickstarter mid-July.
Mid-July.
So check out GameWick.com, and we will announce the actual date.
Mid-July.
All the artwork is done, and it's got a bunch of cool stuff in there. A lot of new variants. We're increasing some of the rules. There's new cards to amplify the terror. There's random victim cards. If you want to pick somebody randomly, you can just roll them on out. So it's a lot of fun. There's a lot jammed into this little game to just card and dice.
Larry, you said it all.
I think I did.
You did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Guys, July, Kickstarter. Check it out.
Please do.
You can't go wrong here. This really looks like a lot of fun.
It is.
Larry, I want to thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right.
All right.
Until next time, for your old pal Rob and everybody here at Board Game Geek, we'll see you soon.
Thank you.